Okay, another item here, which I might give you a bit of a heads up with, is some of the floors. So let's take a look at the floors. Again, the floors aren't divided into substructure, superstructure, roofs, etc. Click the model browser and let's navigate to our floors, and there they are there. So let's see what's in the floors by clicking on, I suppose, the overarching category. We've got all our floors there together, and then within the floor category, we've got this Filigree slab 250. Now we'll look at that in a second. And that looks as if it's the majority, I guess, of the car park floors. We got some 150 raised concrete floors, which I think is the core floors. And this one here in particular, I think is actually on the car park floor. So that's a pure 150 millimeter raised concrete floor. Then we got a 250 millimeter raised concrete floor. Now that's just pure concrete floor that will have formwork to the soffit, to the edges, etc. And then we got the 300 millimeter cast in place concrete floor, and I think that's to the basement. So the concrete ones, based on your experience of measuring concrete works, should be fairly straightforward. Measuring your volume, measuring your formwork, and measuring your rebar. Remember, for your formwork, you'll obviously have the formwork to the soffit, you'll have the formwork around the edges. Your rebar then will be on a kg per meter cube basis, and the volume will be mapped to the volume of the object property. This filigree slab, now this top slab, I guess this is the first floor slab, or ground floor slab, basement slab, ground floor slab. This one first floor, second floor, and this is, well, you could call it a roof, I guess, but it's the floor, the top floor as such. So let's just put it with the floor rather than with the roof. Although it doesn't really matter because we're only assigning whether it's substructure, structure, or architectural works, non-structural. So let's take a look at the object properties in one of these floors, and you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 floor items. One of the items there, if I select it and then hit properties just to see what's in here, tells me what it is in terms of a type name. It tells me where I suppose it is in terms of National Standard Building Elements, although we're to the ICMS. It tells me what it is. Now, most importantly, what I wanted to draw your attention to here, this filigree slab is 150 millimeter precast concrete floor under 100 RC slab. So the precast floor will be, I suppose, put in place, and then over that slab, let's say a kind of a screed of 100 millimeters will be cast in place. So I guess there'll be no formwork to it from a soffit point of view to the RC slab, but there will be formwork around the edges. So we just want to, I suppose, keep that in mind. So why not go ahead and actually measure one of these? It's pretty straightforward. I have one selected. So once I click plus, it'll go in there. And maybe we want to name how it's broken up. It's 100 millimeters or C slab under, or sorry, it's 100 millimeters C slab over the precast. And the precast is 150. Okay, so just to double check that that's it, 150 precast concrete floor under, so I just did it the other way around. So the RC slab is kind of the, I suppose, the screed more than anything else over the precast 150 millimeter. So let's select the color, in this case orange, why not? The BIM model quant is what I want to select there, and starting with maybe my first output. So I guess from a precast concrete point of view, precast concrete floor slabs are measured as their area. So let's just start with that area. And then the classification will be structure, and we're looking for meters squared. And that'll put a default formula area in there. And then let's just look for an area BIM property. And we know we have it because we checked it there with the properties. And there it is. This one is 3,000 meters squared, or over 3,000 meters squared. Quite a big building, so obviously it's a significant area. And then given the fact that I have an area and I'm measuring a BIM property, let's try and calculate what the perimeter of this is. Now, I guess we don't need to have any more. If I just double check my car park template from a formwork point of view, go to structure. We've got the formwork, soppus of suspended floors, and is there edges of slabs, edges of floor slabs? So it's measured per meter. So why don't I look for a perimeter of my floor slab? And because that's what I'm looking for in terms of perimeter length for my formwork. structure, meter, and I'm going to type in perimeter here because that's essentially what I'm looking for. Now, I don't know, is there a perimeter BIM property? I didn't see it. Let's type it in. And there is actually BIM perimeter. And there it is there. In fact, it's 223,000 millimeters. Of course, that will convert it when I'm looking for meters in my takeoff. So that's good because that'll give me my formwork. All right. Then I'm going to add an additional output here, and I am going to look for RC volume. So the reinforced concrete RC slab. So that's the 100 millimeters RC slab that is over the precast slab classification structure. Now, what I want to be careful with here is I'm going to look for cubic meters, and if I went and put a volume in there, which is really what I'm looking for, and then went and mapped it to the volume that's in here that is available for me. And if I scroll down, there it is. Now, that volume is not the correct volume of a or reinforced concrete slab. That volume, I believe, is the thickness, the full thickness, equivalent to the full thickness of the slab. So that's 250 millimeters thick. But I'm only looking for 100 millimeters. So I guess what I need to do in that case is go area, which I've already mapped to, times thickness. Now, I don't know, is there a property I can map to in here which will give me the specific thickness of the concrete? There could be. So let's take a look. Thermal mass, thickness. That thickness is wrong. Filigree, slab name. I don't believe there is. So let's just type in, oh, description. No, that's again description. Default thickness. No, won't give it to me. So let's type in just 0.15 there. Okay, so that should give us, I suppose, the thickness we're looking for from a reinforced concrete slab point of view. That is 100 mil thick. Sorry, it's 100, not 150. Okay, there we go. And what else I'll need? I won't need formwork to the soffit, but I'll need formwork around the edge, and that's going to be covered with that. And I suppose one of the last things I need is my rebar. Keeping it in the same structure, tons, and in this case, it's going to be volume, or same as what I set for my volume, area times thickness, which is essentially my volume of what I'm looking for. Brackets at the start, brackets at the end, multiplied by weight by volume. And the weight by volume, I can look it up here. It is weight by volume, slabs. I don't have slabs in there. And in fact, I believe that it'll be a fabric mesh reinforcement, so I won't need it. I'll be just taking the area of the slab. So I don't really need that one actually. So I'll put it in though. Let's say, for example, it was, just to give you an example, 250 kg per meter cubed. Okay, this is how I might measure it. So start takeoff and then just select all those items. So we've got actually quite a significant 12,000 odds meters squared of area, perimeter 966.25. Hopefully that's correct. And the reinforcement of the concrete slab, or sorry, the concrete volume of the slab 1254. That's the 100 millimeter. And then the rebar to that 313 tons. As I said, there's no soffit because the soffit is essentially, the formwork to the soffit is essentially the precast slab underneath. So I think that pretty much covers exactly what I'm looking for in terms of the floor. So go ahead and give that a go.